All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy January 3rd. How are you feeling? So, I am so glad for a new chance to share some good, juicy, interesting information with you. And today I want to share on, and this might surprise you because you're going to be like, Beth, you're a confidence coach. What in the world are you talking about? Confidence is not believing in yourself. So you're probably thinking, does that mean I should not believe in myself? Nope. So stay with me, stick with me. But I am going to be, for the next 30 days, dropping videos every day on my YouTube channel. So there's going to be a lot of exclusive content here. And that means you want to subscribe. Yes, hit the subscribe button so that you can get all of the information I'm going to be sharing this coming month so that we can start this year off as well as we can on a good foundation. Yes, we want to start with a good foundation so that as our year continues, no matter what happens in our year, we have some strong foundational supports underneath us, right? Are you ready? Yes. So if you are ready to get some information on why confidence isn't believing in yourself, you can, type ready or let's go in the comments below, please. Now, why is confidence not believing in yourself? I mean, there's all these posters and different little journals and everything that you can buy with really fancy glitter, and gold, and rainbow covers that say, believe in yourself. What are you talking about, Beth? Well, here is the problem. Our belief systems are sometimes way off. Sometimes our belief systems are not true. They're not really a foundation that is really worth building on. And therefore, as a result, we might end up, if we believe in ourselves, having a false confidence in ourselves and not even realizing it. So I do like to give some examples to make things more clear. I'll give a couple. So I'll start with myself, for example, right? So at one point, if you'd asked me like years ago, right, in my 20s, in my 30s, are you confident? I would say yes. I believe in myself. Here's the problem. When I went into this situationship with someone who ended up doing something really dirty as a result of the relationship ending, when he raped me, I had certain belief systems about myself. And those belief systems were based not on a truth. As a result, at the end of that, I felt unworthy of being loved. In particular, as a Christian woman, I felt unworthy of being loved by another Christian man. I believed I was damaged goods. Why? Because I had this certain belief system, confidence system, that I was a great woman based on the fact of my autonomy over my own body. Now, I don't want to get really deep into the psychological workings of my brain at that time, but I had a false belief system about what made me and my body valuable. Okay. As a result, when I got into trying to get to know someone new, I took into it that he wouldn't even want me. And if he ever knew my past, if he'd ever known who I had been with. So I had false belief systems. As a result, my self esteem went shoop, because it was not built on something strong. Here's another thing. This is pretty common. I've been guilty of this. So I think we all have, as men and women. I don't think that there's probably, myself included, a man or woman who hasn't had this belief system in one way or another, where it's like, oh, well, I'm a good wife, I'm a good husband, I'm a good girlfriend, I'm a good boyfriend, I'm a good partner because I make six figures, because I can cook and I can clean, because I'm pretty, because I'm handsome, because I have the right curves, or because I have the right muscles, or because I'm educated. That's a big one, a big one. Oh, I would make a great wife because I'm so intelligent and I have like all the diplomas to prove it. Or I am a great man and a great candidate for a husband or a boyfriend because I have like the credentials to prove it. I have, X numbers of dollars in my bank account. I drive this car. I have that car for my weekend car, whatever it is, right? Well, here's the thing. A lot of times our belief systems about what makes us a good wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend are just bonuses. I think, oh, I can cook. That would make me, or I can keep a really cute house. And I do love to decorate. That would make me a great wife. Well, that's a bonus. When when I finally do get married, those things are bonuses, right? In fact, actually, that happens. Think about all the men and women who might be like, oh, there's no good men out there. Oh, there's no good women out there, because they thought or they believed that X, Y, or Z was what the other person wanted. And in fact, a man may not care about the cooking. That could be extra bonus. Or the sex. Let's talk about sex. A lot of times, like, oh, I'm a good wife because, my sex is great. Or the same thing with the man, right? These are bonuses, but they're not like necessarily what someone is looking for. Someone who's shallow, right? And I don't even mean shallow in the sense of like, maybe they don't even like, shallow in the sense that, and I'm going to touch on this soon, so I feel like I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, in the sense that they have gotten their information for what would make a good life partner based on what society says they should be or they should have. So we have these belief systems, and then we go into it, and then we realize, well, that didn't work. And then we go into the next relationship trying to do the same thing of the cooking and the cleaning and the great sex or the whatever it is that we think would make us desirable as a partner. It doesn't work out, and we keep the cycle going instead of actually possibly adjusting our belief system, because it might not be anything that we think it is or believe it is. So those are two examples by why I'm saying we don't really want to have our confidence based on our beliefs, because believing in ourselves can throw us off onto the wrong track if our belief system is actually in the end not true. So let's talk about the second thing that I just started to get into, which makes us kind of shallow. And I don't mean shallow even in like a negative sort of way. I'm talking about we're just shallow. We don't have that much depth to work with and to go into within ourselves and in our relationships. So Here's the thing. Language. I was thinking about this recently, language, because for 20 years, I taught ESL primarily, which was I taught people who did not have English as their first language how to read, write, speak socially and professionally and academically English. Oh, listen, I forgot listening, right? So a lot of times we think of language as I speak English, or I speak Haitian Creole, or I speak Korean, or I speak Spanish, or I speak Arabic, or whatever language it is, or languages that you happen to speak. But here's the thing about believing in ourselves. Belief systems are, a lot of times our belief systems are made up of many languages. What do I mean by that? Well, we grow up from like a birth to about 7. All we're doing is we're taking in and we're absorbing the languages that everyone is giving us, the languages of our parents speaking to us, the languages our friends at school speak to us, the languages that the actual schools, the teachers speak to us, the education system. A lot of times people will send their child, especially Christian parents, to Sunday school. So the language of religion that the Sunday school teacher is teaching. The language of when we get older as adults and we get into the world, right? The language of either if we're a business owner, our customers or clients, the language of if we're working for someone full-time or part-time, the language that our coworkers are speaking, right? So we are all day long, from literally when we're born, especially those first 7 years when we're just taking in, we're absorbing all these different languages coming at us from all different places. I can't believe I left out society and culture. The language that society and culture is speaking about what it is to be pretty, about what it means to be smart. A lot of kids think I'm stupid because they didn't speak the correct language in school. Maybe their language was football, and the teacher was expecting them to have this math language, and now as a result they think they're stupid, but in reality they're a freaking genius. It's just because they were into this channel in the education system that was only, giving them one loud language of you have to do this way, right? So our languages that we're listening to, we're absorbing, or in through music, right? I mean, listen, when we hear it's okay as women to call our girlfriends bitches, that's a language. Is that a belief system that I want to adopt? But many, and I get how it could be adopted in the sense of you're making fun of what other people say about women or whatever. But no, these languages become part of our belief systems, and then when we start believing these and believing in ourselves based on these faulty belief systems, our confidence is not true. Our confidence is built on something that's going to crumble, especially if we go through something traumatic. And it's life. Life is bumpy, and I would actually argue that every single human at some point is going to go through something traumatic in their lifetime. Could be the loss of a job, the loss of a parent, that's almost inevitable, the loss of a child, the loss of something that's going to rock our identity that we have, our identity of who I am as a woman, my identity of who I've been told I should be as a Christian woman, or if you're a man, your identity that you believe about yourself as a man, right? That belief system is going to get shaken, and then we can fall apart. And so all of these languages have different voices, right? And some are really loud and some are more quiet. And so then it can get really noisy. Like, who do I listen to? what do I listen to? How do I navigate it? And so sometimes, like, there might be one language that is a little bit louder than all the other languages. So this is how our life gets out of balance as well. And our identity can get out of balance. So, and our relationships can get out of balance. So, for example, say like the education, and this is pretty common. This I'm picking this one because this is a pretty common one, um, especially for women. I think from what I've observed. So, school, right? That becomes like a loud language, and we might achieve some success. So we're like, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get my master's. And you know what? Really interested in this. And I want to like promote and advance professionally and make more money. And so I'm going to now get my doctorate, whatever. So now I have like all these degrees. I have all these skills, these classifications that I'm excelling professionally because that language of school became so loud, and it was clearer to me. And so I tuned in and I focused on that. And so I went down this track, and the other languages were kind of confusing, and I didn't really understand them. I didn't really speak the language of love very well, or relationships. And so now things are out of whack. And here I am, as a professional woman, and I can't get it right in my romantic relationships, right? And I could say this about myself even. I can have success as professionally and have my relationships like way out of whack. So, how did this happen? Well, because I'm not clear on things. And I've got all these languages. And so now I'm following in like an unbalanced belief system about my abilities and my success as a professional woman versus the languages that are confusing and everything in my relationships. It's kind of like the Tower of Babel, right? In the Bible, there were these group of people, and they said, we're going to get together and we are going to build this tower, and it's going to go all the way up to God. They decided that they would do this. And so they started doing it. Well, at that point in time, everyone spoke one language. So what was happening is they all were working together. They were all building this tower successfully. And God looked down and he said, oh, okay, I see that they are all on one accord. They're all together. They're all speaking the same language. And if they do, they're going to do this. They're going to be successful, and they're going to, try to prove that they're better or superior to me. They're going to become gods in their own eyes. Well, I'm God, and my job is to be God, and they're humans, and they're my creation, and they are not going to feel that they're above me. So as a result, God said, haha, you all get to speak different languages. Now figure it out. So what happened? It didn't get built, because this is the thing in our lives, when we have all of these different languages making up who we are, what we're supposed to do next, how it's supposed to look, it can get really confusing. And as a result, our lives can be kind of messy, and our confidence can be here in one area high and low in another area. We're out of balance. We want harmony. And we need to have one language, right? That way, when we are not having all this confusion, we get into something when we're not confused where we can like build, and it can be successful. And so that's, as a confidence coach, what I do help people do is I help people map out their life stories without going into listening to this voice over here, and then that voice over here, and the next voice over here, and the following voice over here, but literally tuning in to God's voice. Not, and that can even be tricky too. Like, how do I even know what God's voice is? Because this pastor over here is speaking that prophet over there is speaking a different language. The church members are all speaking 30 different things, right? So just when I work as a confidence coach with someone, sorting through that, mapping out the mind, the heart, and the physical life transformations that need to happen. And I base it all on God's word. Okay. So that's how I help people sort through all this chaos and eventually, in time, and as short as 20 days, actually, help people to begin building true confidence instead of the false confidence like I once had when I was listening to all these different languages, when I was listening to all these different things being spoken in all different areas about how I needed to be as a woman. And now here's also the other problem with confidence and believing in yourself. Confidence doesn't actually mean belief. So when we think that we have confidence because we believe in ourselves, well, that actually goes contrary to the actual word confidence and what confidence means. Confidence in Latin means, it comes from cum, which means with, and fidere, which means trust. So confidence actually means with trust. So it's not so much about believing in yourself, it's more about trusting, having trust. Of course, not everyone and everything is trustworthy. So how do you sort through that? That is also, how do you have a healthy trust? How are you safe? How can you be safe in trust? Because especially if someone has hurt us, we've had a broken heart, someone has done something traumatic to us, how can we trust people again? How do we trust society? Or how do we trust like people with Christian backgrounds, like a lot of times church hurt? How do we trust other Christians? How do we trust our partner, particularly if our partner is someone who cheated on us? You know, like, how do we even trust God again? Because a lot of us, we feel betrayed by him. So confidence actually has to do with trust. So how to build trust, that's part of the healing. And when we are, again, not clear on how to build that trust, then as a result, our confidence is not going to be strong. It's going to be faulty. And maybe we even trust with ourselves. Maybe we trust ourselves professionally, but we don't trust ourselves relationship wise. Again, we're, on this rocky thing. And then we kind of go year in, year out with the same old merry-go-round, same old roller coaster, same repeating mistakes, same repeating patterns in our life, because our trust hasn't even been built properly. So this is what I, again, work with people who I do mentoring with, who I do coaching with, is healing and redefining ourselves, our lives, mapping out successful life stories based on something that we can trust, which again is, I do this all from a Christian perspective, which is God's word. So that is something that I wanted to share with you, because I do think that people have a lot of, or going around, there's a lot of really great things that are happening in the wellness and mental health industry, but there's also a lot of weird messaging and inaccurate messaging. And I think that confidence is something that in some situations, not in all wellness or mental health areas, but in some areas has been misleading and has been giving the wrong messages. Confidence really is not believing in yourself. Again, the word confidence comes in Latin from cum and fidere, if I'm saying that right, with trust. So it has to do with a trust. and being able to trust yourself. And when I was in a place where I was not confident, that was actually my biggest problem. I did not trust myself. And I didn't trust when I started to try to get to know someone new. I didn't trust this new person because I based on my belief system, when I believed in myself, right? That part had been ruined. It had gotten damaged by the rape. As a result, I didn't trust someone else to want me. I didn't trust anyone actually to want me or to desire me, right? I didn't even trust myself to make a good choice in who to pick to be with in partnership. So it was a huge mess, and it was all rooted in trust. I had trust issues starting with me. So to become confident, to be able to walk in confidence, we really have to heal those trust issues that we have with ourselves, that we have with our partners, that we have with God, that we have with society. And I'm not saying we just go out there and just like start randomly trusting everything carefree, la di da. No, that is not what I'm saying. That is why when I work with people, I work on mapping out the mindset transformation, the heart transformation, and the physical life transformation so that we know how to trust, how to do it all in a safe way that benefits us, that we can feel good about, that we feel confident about. It's not fake confidence, it's the real confidence. It's not fake trust or but like, genuine trust, right? When I genuinely trust myself, I genuinely feel confident about me. All right. So, and that also helps us, like I was sharing earlier, about all the different languages that we get just bombarded with daily from society, from church, from our friends, from our family, from the movies, culture, music, all of that, even from our coworkers or our customers if we're businesses or business owners or entrepreneurs, right? Sorting through those languages, getting rid of that so we're not having like all this babbling conversation, and we're really just speaking like one language, a language of trust built on something solid. And that is why I'm a Christian confidence coach, because God's word is solid and it won't change. And it is something, and from my life experience, I can attest to is trustworthy. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would disagree with me, but there's also a lot of people who would agree with me. But God does say, trust me and I will prove myself to you. So he will prove himself worthy. And so that is why I teach everything from a Christian perspective, because that's the only thing that's stable, that will not change. Okay. If I go by and I trust the word of society this year on what's beautiful, I'm going to be in a bad way 20 years from now when I'm however old I'm going to be in 20 years. I'm not going to say, but, yeah, I'm not ready for that. Yeah, I'm here for the moment, enjoying my age right now. Anyway, I got off track. This is my birthday month. Let me get back on focus. So, yes, we want to trust not all the voices, not everything is trustworthy. And when we believe in ourselves, even our emotions, right? If I believe in myself, well, today my emotion might be happiness. Tomorrow, something may happen and my emotion might be grief. I'm going to trust acting out today in happiness, and tomorrow I'm going to trust or believe in myself that it's okay to act out all over the place in grief. That's how people get like literally lose their minds, right? We don't want that because it's not something that's stable. So yes, I would love to hear from you if you would like more information, if this resonated with you and you're like, yeah, I don't really feel like I fully trust myself, or I trust myself in some areas, but I don't trust myself in other areas. I doubt myself here, but I'm not confident here, but this area I'm confident in. We want to be, in harmony, in alignment with who we are as women and who we are as men. And so you can reach out to me. I'm going to put my email in the in the description comments below. So you can email me if you have any questions or you would like to work with me. I'm also going to put below in the comments the link to my online course, which is something that can be done independently or also can be done with me in one-to-one coaching on mapping out new life success stories so that you are truly walking in real confidence. Not the fake it till you make it. There is no more faking it till you make it. We are not doing anything fake in 2023. Okay. None of that. It's all going to be real. So our life is meant to be golden. Gold, right? We are regal. We are God's children. That means if God is the King of Kings, or then and we're sons and daughters, then we are royalty. And so our lives should be golden, right? So I'm going to be put, that's how it's meant to be. Although it doesn't sometimes look like that, right? So I'm going to put the link to my course as well. And there is one-to-one coaching or independent, however you prefer, as an option for mapping that out so that this year you will be really walking through your life confidently. And so have a wonderful rest of your day. And Lord willing, tomorrow I will be back with another video. So make sure you also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Because today I went live in 3 places, on my Facebook, on YouTube, and someplace else. It's like a channel I don't really use a lot, but I went live there too. So tomorrow I'm just going exclusively, and most days will be exclusively live in just YouTube. So make sure you subscribe for more juicy, interesting, useful insights on how to be confident. Have a good day. Peace.